Connected. Alright. Alright guys. I'm gonna try once again. It's gonna take bits and bits. I notice now it's gonna take seconds and seconds to figure out what's going on, how to figure this stuff out. So I apologize for all these live stream tests and everything else. But like I said, yeah, you gotta learn. So try to learn how to get most of this stuff done. And that is funny because now it says it's working. The stream is working, but I can't get it to play the live stream. Let me see here. Got the chat kicked in. Working. Yeah, it's working. Sprite. Making sure. Can you hear me, Sprite? Trying to figure out all this stuff. Loud and clear. Okay. Well, let's go with this for now. Okay. I apologize for all the stuff, and I'll figure out some way to make some noise. I mean, I hope I'll hear this to see, because there's a clicking in my ear that's annoying the heck out of me, and I don't know where the heck that's coming from. Like, it's just annoying me. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. But anyway, let's talk about some stuff that we need to be talking about, because it's been a long time, and again, it's still a test. Just trying to figure out everything with using. So I know a lot of people use ODS, and since I built my new computer, XSplit came with my with my graphics card, so I'm using that and see how things are going. So this one is that, and yeah, let's see what's going on. What's going on? So Nintendo Switch. What up, Red Fox? Yeah, it's been a long time, bro. It's been a long time. I'm literally trying to finish up my studio. Computer's built, but now I'm working on my studio, and today was not the best day of my best day. Really, I was supposed to do a lot of stuff get done today, and it's either people got canceled or stuff canceled on me, and it was crazy. So it's like, I'll leave it to I'll leave it to that. That's just been a crappy day. But I do want to talk about some stuff, a little bit of stuff while I got the chance, and use this as a test. And hopefully I'll figure out how to get the chat. Like I said, I get the chat showing. That's good. Hopefully I can find out how to get the you call it, the so you guys could so you could connect, like, connect and talk, like how you guys, I think you figured it out long time, Red Fox, because I see that you still have your podcast and stuff like that. Like I said, I've been just super busy, and I still am super busy. I said by December I should be back to getting back to normal stuff, and I could do stuff. But gaming. I want to show something, because it's a little it is a little annoying, and talking about the saying that because of Google, freaking Google. So with Google, I want to show this because it is. It was proven. I know that was gonna happen. I know this was gonna happen, and everybody talk. And funny too, I've seen a lot of videos about this, and people are like, "Oh, this is you don't you need to get higher. No, you need a high, like it is asinine. Google Stadia is asinine. How you got connected, and I want to let Gamer Nexus, Steve from Gamer Nexus, explain it to you. Hopefully, audio comes through, cause it is literally it don't work the way it is. A lot of people say, "Oh no, it just does not do it." Yeah, Kenoshi did tell me that you use OBS with Discord. So I have OBS on my other computer, and it was giving me problems. So I'm just gonna have to. Let's talk about having a compa. I don't care. I really don't care about compa. Shit's right. Sorry. I read the stuff. I know what happened. It was again Google passing the buck. Didn't want to do nothing, and now what Google's doing is passing it towards the creators. It's yeah, it is freaky as hell. The Google's passing YouTube, I should say, is passing on the problems to the creators because they don't want to take responsibility. See, they want to be a publisher but not a publisher. So they want to because they want to jump in and out some rules, and it's bull crap. It's just bull crap. So hey, I feel for the people who are gonna feel that. Yes, because when I had to start the stream, I had to put down not for young kids, of course, and that's what I'm gonna put down, and I gotta play by whatever rules, crappy rules it is. But I can't. I mean, looking at what all people have been saying and then reading the laws and everything, yeah, this was Google's. This is YouTube's fault. They could have done stopped this long time ago and did the right thing, but they didn't. And they want because they want to advertise to the most. And because again, let's be honest, YouTube don't make a lot of money. They barely make money from money. So now they're trying to do all kind of stuff to get to get things to make the money as best as they can. And I get it. I mean, you host all these videos. The server is like the servers in the clouds and all that stuff is a lot, a lot of stuff. Sorry. This is why YouTube content creator should not be a career. How do you put this on your resume once you can't make money anymore? Well, that is a good one. You're right. That is true. And look, you could make a career, but the thing about it is the old saying: never put all your eggs in a basket or diversify. I mean, heck, I do architecture, but again, I do music. I mean, when 2008 came and the housing market crashed, I was kind of screwed because nobody was buying houses. So literally, again, I was down to like what 3 days and only about 28 hours at if you could even get 28 hours to work. That's why I do the studio at the night job, and that was getting crazy, and I quit that. I quit that one, thank goodness. But yeah, sorry YouTubers. I feel for some of you guys. Some gonna they're not gonna get rid of a lot of their big YouTubers because they make money for YouTube and they know it. But we'll see how it works out. But like I said, let me get to the Stadia part and see if this works. Again, this is a test, guys. Let me see if it works and everything. But let's go with that and test this out as best as I can. Oh, so you don't want to go no bigger than that. All right, well, that's what it is. Let's see if it plays.
Google Stadia is
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's loud in my ears. I don't hope it ain't loud to you guys. I apologize for that.
supposed to make gaming easier and more accessible for people without powerful computers at home, done by leveraging remote servers to process the games and then send a video downstream for decoding. It's not a new idea, but Google's execution of this old idea proves that it's possible to fail in even more spectacular ways than previously thought.
All right. I'm gonna ask a question. Did you guys heard all of that from Steve? I'm just gonna put it in the chat because I'm testing a lot of this stuff once I get this broadcasting stuff together. Because like I said, I did want to. Like I said, Stadia is just a royal. I just couldn't believe it. The things you gotta do. This ain't Nintendo. This is blasphemy. No, it's not. No, it's not Nintendo. Anyway, Sprite? Did you hear what the video just played? That's a simple question. And I agree with you, Red Fox. Okay, yeah, that Compa is not if you're monetizing your videos, which I'm not either. So yeah, all right. So that's the case. So let's hear this royal F up by Google, because everybody talk. I see people talking positive. Like I'm like, no, it ain't. If you gotta do this, that is crazy. You gotta go jump through all these hoops. Let's try that. So I'm gonna skip a little bit and get Sugar here. Here's the hoops that he has to jump through to get Google to Stadia to work.
But Stadia is the new attempt at this, and it's done by one of the biggest companies in the world, and probably the company that has the most internet infrastructure, period, at its disposal. So if anyone can make it work today, then Google theoretically is going to be that company. This is supposed to allow you to play games in Google Chrome, like in a web browser. You should be able to play games via Chromecast, like one of these that they'll ship with the expensive Founders Package, or you can buy separately if you like wasting your money. And also should be able to stream to phones. Although we had no interest in testing that today, it is on the supported features list. Our goals for today, at the outset, were to simply test latency, input latency, and do some basic benchmarks of playing games that we already have on PC and on consoles in a web browser using Google Stadia. That was the plan. It didn't materialize, but that was the plan. We had good intentions. Google mostly lied for this launch. It doesn't really have any excuses for some of the things that aren't working, because Google ostensibly owns basically all of the services that are remotely attached to Stadia. Google makes Gmail and G Suite, which we'll talk about momentarily, and also Android, if you'd forgotten that, and also the Pixel phones, which we'll talk about later too. So the company has all but mandated use of its other services to even begin to use Stadia, which is annoying in the least. But we were willing to deal with it because we just wanted to test the gaming side of things. So our out-of-box experience, unfortunately, we were graced with an experience where it was just not possible to get the product working. So what you are getting from us today is a genuine consumer-level review of the product, because we didn't get on the review list for this. We didn't ask either, to be fair. But not being on the review list is interesting because it forces us to buy it and then on launch day, test it the way everyone else would when they get it in the box. And so you get the real experience walkthrough with us, or at least the real experience for minimally hundreds of users if the internet is anything to go by. Google Stadia had a founders pack that we obviously advised against back when it was announced, with some of the value being an early registration of unique usernames without numbers appended to the end. Although this isn't actually much value aside for business uses, like for streamers who need to register their names and that's important for them, Google still casts its net to catch early adopters. The arrogance of Google to bait buyers with the promise of first crack at a username, something that is artificially segmented by releasing the poor people version.
Okay, so that killed me. So you have to get so just to get your unique gamer tag, you have to pre-order to get the Founders Edition. Remember, this is not even the regular edition, whatever. I was against this from the get-go when I heard this because of the lag and also the lag. Well, you'll see the lag and all the stuff. But just to get the daggone system is ridiculous.
Of Google Stadia next year instead of now is only further exemplified by its responses to online criticism. The Stadia official Reddit account replied to criticisms with the following quote: "It's a unique time in history when you have a chance to grab a cool name on a new gaming platform." And just really emphasize that. They said, it's a unique time in history.
No, it ain't.
For a gaming platform special name. That's what Google was defending their pre-order option of a unique name in order to try and justify the $130 price tag. Some say that rescuers are still looking for Google's head up its own asshole after that quote. It's way up there. It'll take them a while to find it. So let's get a few things straight. First of all, that's not a unique time in history. That's a very large stretch of those words. A unique time in history would be the rise of agrarian society or maybe the fall of Rome. Those are unique times in history. Google did, to its credit, appropriate a Latin name, though, so we'll give them that. But Stadia isn't a unique time. Stadia is also another commodity for entertainment, just like all of the others. Basically everything we review, it's all pretty much commodities, which is fine, but it's certainly not special. And like every single other consumer electronic that has ever and probably will ever be invented, it will be forgotten within the next decade along with all of its lineage, unless it's one of the very few extremely successful products like perhaps Mac OS or Windows. Say what you will about them otherwise, but they've lasted. So Google carried on in its message saying the following: good reason to pre-order for this, but heads up, Andre is taken. You'll get the name reservation email a bit before you receive your Founders Edition. As for who gets first dibs, we'll be sending name reservation emails in the order pre-orders were received. And this is where the real part of our review starts. We never got that email, and in looking around online, that appears to be the status quo. It seems like these emails, which are required to turn on the $130 Google Stadia purchase, have not really been going out. But we have other problems aside from that too. And that's the general setup, which even if you got the activation code email, you still would likely have issues with, in the very least at a philosophical level, if not a technical level. So in order to get a head start on Stadia testing, we did pre-order the $130 Founders Edition. We do that because it's our job to make videos about these things, so it makes sense for us to get it in early, opportunity cost, all that stuff. But we wouldn't recommend pre-ordering in general. This comes with a Chromecast Ultra, shown here. It also comes with access to the Stadia streaming service starting today, and that'd be November 19th, time of filming. And it also comes with the Google Stadia controller. That's what you get with the pre-order. And the reviewers on Google's list, not us, got access earlier, and customers who just want to use the free base level won't have access until next year. Free, as in you still have to buy the games. So it's not really free. It's literally the opposite of free, but that's a topic for another video. We were lucky enough to get a box with our Founders hardware and the extra controller on launch day, which we paid for all that stuff. Google stopped selling packages that guaranteed delivery on November 19th some time ago, and it seems like even some of the later Founders orders might not be shipped on time, although we did get ours. Considering ourselves fortunate to have gotten everything on time for the 12 p.m. EST launch, we started setting everything up. The Google Stadia launch page directed us to download the Stadia app on an Android or iOS device to begin setup and enter our code. Even though we were already logged into Chrome, the third Google product named in the last couple sentences, with the account we'd used to purchase Stadia, we still needed to set this up through a separate app.
Okay, so catch that for a second, and you can see why Google Plus basically failed because of how Google think of certain things, because that's so stupid. So you already done logged in through your Google Mail, and again, it's going to get more complicated than this. You already done logged in on your Google Mail to do the whatever you need to do right now, and then you still need to log in on a Google device. So let me get it straight. You're on the computer. You're already in your Google Mail, like I am, like you see Endo up to the top. So I'm already logged in, but I still gotta use a phone to log in if I want to play the game through a PC. What the hell? That makes no sense, Google. But they want you to connect everything together. Remember that. So far, 3 things. Let's keep going.
On a separate device. As a reminder, we literally only need this app to enable our product that arrived in a physical box because we can't use them without registering them via an app, even though we're using a computer. Patrick tried to download the application on his Galaxy S4, but it's incompatible. It's an old phone, so sure, whatever. But again, we only need to activate it. And next, I tried to activate it download the app on my newer Android phone, also incompatible. Google requires one of its own phones, a Pixel phone running its Android OS, to activate Stadia via the requisite Stadia app, even if you're not going to stream to the phone.
And mind you, this is just to get it so you could. This is just for you to use to, like you just said, activate it so you can, get to the daggone system.
Our next step was to try and work around this, and we did that by unpacking the Chromecast Ultra that came with our Stadia Founders Edition bundle to see if we could run the Stadia app on that instead. In order to set up the Chromecast, we first had to install the Google Home app on a phone because we all died in a car crash, and this is actually hell. None of us own Chromecast, so we were expecting it to be normal Android streaming device type of product with some apps installed on it, but that's not the case. The $70 Chromecast Ultra is just a glorified HDMI cable that streams from other devices, and therefore can't actually run the Stadia app internally. Coincidentally, the oldest phone in the office, the S4, can output HDMI with a $10 adapter, while Google's newer phones can't because Google needs to sell more Chromecasts. Finally, one of our editors came in. Andrew's Pixel 2 is the only phone in the office compatible with the Stadia app. We already knew that Pixel phones would be the only ones compatible at launch. We just didn't know that we'd need to download the Stadia app to a phone to enter a code so that we could get permission from Mr. Google to play in a web browser on a desktop. It seems a little bit...
So you see how crazy that is? You gotta do, so that's the what? So you gotta get a Pix. That's 4 Google stuff you gotta put together just so you could get this thing to work. And that ain't it. That's not even the end of it.
Convoluted that way. We never intended to use the phone at all. We hate phones. We also don't really like Chromecast now. Here's the next problem. This is all just kind of building on the big mess that Google created for itself. If anyone remembers Google Plus, they stand by their services for a long time. So Andrew added our @gamersnexus.net G Suite address that we made for this purpose. And G Suite is another Google product. It's more or less a reskinned Gmail with your company's domain at the end of it. So this was added to his phone, which is compatible. We downloaded Stadia to it successfully. We needed to activate the code, but first the Stadia app told us that we can't use email accounts from G Suite, which is a Google product, because it needs us to use a generic Gmail account. So we made a generic Gmail account, added that to his phone. Andrew now has 6 Gmail accounts attached to his phone. Sorry, Andrew. And finally got to the code entry screen, which brings us mostly up to date. We stopped there. Google claimed that it would send out these Stadia codes when the Founders Edition packages were shipped. Google claimed a lot of things with this, and it's mostly dropped the ball. It's just sad that this is even an issue because it's a matter of specifically selling early access to people. We don't really care. We didn't even want the thing other than to test it, see if it's any good, see how the latency is, see how the graphics quality is, stuff like that. All purely from an analytical, doing our jobs perspective, we wanted to work on it, but had no real personal interest to bring it home and use Stadia. We all have decent computers for that. So the real problem is that Google sold this expensive service and then provided none of the services attached to it, at least in, well, we'll talk about the input issues later, but at least in a fashion which people could actually access on launch day. Separately, this is a problem where Google's overcomplicating things because all they needed to do was put the activation code in the box that the stuff came in so that you can type it in, I don't know, Google Chrome, which is also owned by Google, and then play the games through Chrome as part of the advertised service would lead you to believe is possible. But that's not how it works, because Google's trying to link all their devices as much as they can to create an ecosystem that no one wants to be a part of. So clearly the package shipped and we got that. It's sitting here in the office, but neither we nor hundreds of angry customers online, and if you scroll through the /r/Stadia subreddit, you'll see the extent of the issue. None of us have gotten our codes, and therefore all of this hardware is useless. We tried plugging a controller into a PC, and it didn't even work as a gamepad out of the box, even though that's up to Steam. It still added to the general aura of failure, though. So problems then. We are going to revisit this once it works, but the number one thing is don't bother buying this right now. The number two thing is there's absolutely no reason that Stadia users, which Stadia may be a good product, we don't really know, there's no reason that Stadia users should need a Pixel phone or even a Chromecast just to get this thing working. It just need a website. That's it. That's all it needs.
I think that's more than enough to prove my point. I don't get it. I don't understand why they have to make it so hard to get. But Stadia was not something I was looking forward to anyway. I know it was gonna be a piece of crap. Literally know it was gonna be a piece of crap. So you gotta jump through all those hoops, and they still didn't even get the dang on code to activate the physical system. And this is what a lot of these gamers want. Y'all want, most of these gamers want that stuff. See, I'm happy with just buying the thing, putting the thing in the daggone console, and playing the thing. Very simple. Very, very simple. But nope. Again, and you have to remember, you have to pay money to use the system per month while still buying the game. And then you better have yourself a good system, a good internet service, because don't let Google fool you about the whole. Because other people are saying the same thing too. Don't let Google fool you with the whole thing. So I don't get it. I did said gaming industry is gonna come to an is coming to is losing its soul. I think the game industry has lost its soul. I really do think it's already lost its soul. So the next thing we'll see what happens after that. Can it rebound? Can it do stuff? Nope. But what can I say? It is sad that happened the way it happens. So Google, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't gonna buy it anyway. Really. So hopefully you guys check it out. If who are those who want it, I don't, and it's just a mess. But it was proven right. So with that said, I want to again, even though this is a test and everything, thank you guys. I'm gonna take me a little nap before I do anything. Sprite, if you're still listening, or whatever, maybe Trip could do something up. I don't know. Hopefully, I could do that. But yeah, I think I'm getting a little hang of this computer, of this server, the server broadcasting thing. I got a lot more stuff to do. I'll say one thing too: software is becoming a pain in the ass now for a lot of computer stuff. I'm trying to. I bought a basically got a brand new keyboard, MIDI keyboard to play to produce music and everything, and it works. That's good, but to get it to do what I want it to do, I gotta download stuff. I said, okay, I'm cool. I'm gonna download it, but they want you to go through. They want you to download something, go through a net. It's almost like Google Stadia. I gotta download something, go through a Netter account, download that, and it's just stupid. I don't know what's going on with software now. Okay, I've registered the product. Let me just play the dag. Let me just use the daggone thing. Stadia was a bad idea, badly executed. Stadia was a good idea. No, sorry. Stadia was a good idea, badly executed. I don't think it was a good idea. Hey, I'm not. I think it was a bad idea because I don't think it's plausible no time soon. We get, you know better than anybody, better Fox, how some the internet and everything, how it works out. We're nowhere close to making this thing as workable as it needs to be. We're still far out. And I'm not paying no daggone $9 or whatever dollars and then still buy the game. No. Y'all could do that. I ain't. I mean, hell, I think the Nintendo Switch might be my the last console. I mean, if Nintendo's following 5 years off, yeah, I would say 5 years off. I agree with you on that one. I think 5 years off. I think the Nintendo Switch might be my last console. I don't like console. I don't know. We'll see because, Nintendo's also following some rules to with PlayStation and Xbox, and I didn't like it, but we'll see. We'll see what happened with it because I know for sure. I know for sure that it is what do you call it? I mean, I hope Nintendo know what I route, but I can't say nothing. We'll see how it works, but I got my Switch. I'm buying my DMX Machina, my Fire Emblem, my Astral Chains. Heck, I still need to go call some people to call limited game runs to get my daggone games with Gunvolt and River City Girls. I think right now. So yep, need those games, whatever. But I got enough games to play physically. I already did there's a video on my channel showing off my physical collection of games. This is good for me, and I need to I got a crazy backlog of games, but and like I said, so from now until I'll say this, from now until the end of November, it's gonna be these kind of podcasts gonna be that. It's gonna mostly be tests, and I apologize to figure out what's going on. Like I said, I'm gonna listen to the replay and see if I hear this, and because in my ear I hear this knowing clicking. And I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but if it ain't, that's good. If it is, I don't know, because I don't want that. That would drive me nuts. And I'm using the better mic, so it gotta be something going on that I don't know. Because I'm using the expensive mic on this, and I can hear that clicking, so it drives me nuts. Hopefully I can figure out what's going on with the PC, because it's a brand new build. It ain't gotta worry about no power. Hell, I'm not. With all the stuff I'm using, I still see like I'm barely touching the RAM and the thing when using a Threadripper. So I'll figure all that stuff out, and maybe that could help me out in the future. But with that said, guys, I want to thank y'all for listening to that little bit of that. Yep, it's hopefully I get this streaming thing down packed where I could do stuff, but at least we could play videos, listen to that. I don't know if we're gonna be doing a lot more. That's it. I know people are like, oh, let's do the LBCs and stuff, and trust me, there were a couple LBCs, but the way how gaming is coming lately, it's just been, leaving a bad taste in your mouth. So, with that said, though, again, hopefully I can get the park, or get to the point where I can get the park. Like Red Fox said, he used Discord. I could see how that works, and so we could listen to each other and still play videos and stuff. Too bad it's too late. I'm gonna go get me some rest. So with that said, I wish you all a good night, and you know how we always go. There's no perfect games out there. What's perfect for you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect for you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, even PC.